teaching and learning
in the digital age.
Our students are exposed to, digital things overly so before they even get to school.
I definitely see kids early on get very, very interested in photographs and film representations of themselves and the world and the literature that they read.
I always have a cell phone, a smartphone with me all the time. So there are certain apps on that phone that mirror the same apps that I use on my computer on a regular basis or on my iPad. That makes me sound really techy.
I won't sit there all day long and talk to people and throw facts in my pocket.
But I'm always tweeting and getting a lot of information and learning from others inside of Twitter. I always have an email stream. I'm always IMing with folks. I'm always... This really sounds bad as I think about it. I don't think about it that much.
But it's definitely useful if you apply it correctly.
The more you can connect with the kids, the better off you are. I've always said that. So, if you use technology, they like it. For instance, your assignment that you did with the Facebook assignment, I noticed there was a kid coming in here that was excited because they were doing a Facebook assignment. And they saw that they were doing a Facebook assignment on Blackboard, so they were happy about it. Even though it didn't involve at all getting on Facebook, because we can't get on Facebook in the school, it was something that they were familiar with, so therefore they were excited about it.
They crave access to technology. And if you give them a choice of something that they can learn using technology and something that they can learn just using pen and paper, they will 100% opt to use technology.
Another way we use technology that we've increasingly started to use it is we've had more projects that have allowed them to use the flip cams, to use video editing software, to allow them to have a little bit more chance to really think about specific documents and make movies or music videos using that technology so that they think more in depth about certain issues. We used to do a lot more direct instruction, and we're finding that we can sort of augment that or enhance it by giving them more hands-on experience with the technology, which they really like. One other way that we're now using technology is through a website called Edmodo, which is sort of like an academic Facebook, which is allowing them to communicate with their peers and with us more quickly, allows us to put documents up online in case they lose the documents or that they can access them more easily.
So to me, a technology is something that allows you to do something smarter, right? Or that allows you to communicate in a new way.
I think that kids know a lot more, and they also know where to find things, but at the same time it's made them a little bit lazy because they want things, they want information sound bites rather than look through material in order to come up with their own interpretation sometimes, and so they look for the quick right answer, and so I think it's kind of a mixed bag in that respect.
I do have some children who rely on it so heavily that they make excuses for not using pen and paper and books. And even though our society, I believe our society is technologically driven, I don't think that it is the only way that a child can learn and the only way that a person will be a successful member of their community.
In an increasingly standardized educational environment, it is challenging to set aside the time that's required to do some of these projects correctly, because as great as technology is to edit video, to get what you need to get, it's time consuming. And unfortunately, we don't have a million years to cover each topic because we're expected to, get through these standards of learning that we have to achieve. And then just really quickly, funding is an issue. You're learning in your classes about how wonderful technology is, and you're seeing some, I'm guessing you're seeing some great new things on the horizon, and you've seen some things, and there's talk about how this will revolutionize a classroom, or it'll make, teaching that much easier. But the key is those things are wonderful, but then how do the school districts get the money to purchase them?
I think it has given teachers an avenue where we can spark interest with our students. And I also think that it's very important that we use it judiciously, so that one, they're not relying on it so heavily that they don't know how to communicate and use their personal skills. And also that they don't think that it's the only way for them to learn.
They want to Google everything. And if it's not there in Google, well, then it surely cannot exist.
How many different ways?
How many different ways? The best way is I sit down next to kids. I sit down next to kids that I trust and that I know well enough to sit down next to them and say, so what are you working with? What are you doing? I also have some very trusted colleagues whose, I think, day-to-day life it is to just find really smart, new, engaging Web 2.0 tools or pieces of hardware. And I follow them in my Delicious feeds. I follow them inside of my networks, inside of Twitter. And once you have that kind of trusted network, we all have different hats. We all have different roles. And some of them, their role is to go and fetch the stuff and bring it to us. My role is to look at it as the English educator and say, this makes sense in the classroom, this doesn't make sense.
Some use it for play. I want to play on the computer. I want to play on the iPod Touch. As opposed to, I'd like you to use this app so that I can practice this math skill. Or I'd like to use the flip camera so that I can record a book talk. So some of the students understand that the digital opportunities that we have are for education, and then it's not entertainment.
Do you think that you are a digital native?
Nah, I don't, and I consider this a fact because, like, when I was growing up and like going through adolescent like years and everything, I didn't have a cell phone, and we didn't even have a family computer, and so I think I was like a freshman in high school, and I was in the family room. There's no personal computers, and me and my sister shared a cell phone for the first 2 years of high school and went to different schools. So I feel like I was brought up more on, you know, that like definitely for like fundamental stages of life. I wasn't influenced by technology that much.
I do a lot of, just even texting back and forth, so that's a technology that I have with me all the time. I always have a pen in my hand, and I always have a paper-bound notebook with me where I'm writing lots of ideas, and I keep lots of written journals. I think of that as a technology.
My brother, he's 6 years younger than me, and he just always had a cell phone, and like he just always texting friends, and like Facebook is like their way of staying in touch, and that's great and all, maybe later down the road in life when you need to stay in touch with people. But to me, if you're interacting with people, you need to do it face to face, and you need to do it without like this buffer of an internet or a cell phone. So I think it's kind of hurting, social interactions a bit.
I definitely think social networking interests them because of the social nature of so many of our students, and it can be definitely used for strong instructional purposes. I think that we need to embrace our children in this. Our students also in this world of social networking so that everyone's safe.